workout in for the day with all that clapping. Good morning, everyone. I am Leah Chan Greenwald, and it is my great honor to serve as the Dean of the William S. Boyd School of Law here at UNLV. And I am so glad that we are able to gather here together in person on this important day honoring our graduates. If you can all give one more round of applause, I know we're tired, to our graduates. Before we begin, I would like to acknowledge and honor the indigenous communities of this region and recognize that the law school and university is situated on the traditional homelands of the Nuwuvi Southern Paiute people. We offer gratitude for the land itself, for those who have stewarded it for generations, and for the opportunity to study, learn, work, and be in community with this land. We encourage everyone in this space to engage in continued learning about the indigenous peoples who work and live on this land since time immemorial, including the Las Vegas Paiute tribe and the Mawapa Band of Paiutes, and about the historical and present realities of colonialism. As one of the most diverse universities in the United States, UNLV believes it is important to recognize and appreciate the use of Southern Paiute land as part of its mission to be a welcoming and inclusive place for working and learning. I would like now to welcome forward class of 2024 member Kiana Parks, who will sing our national anthem. Please rise. What a joyous day. We are thrilled to have all of you here with us today as we confer the Juris Doctor and Master of Laws degrees upon these very worthy candidates. It is a great day for them, for you, and for all of us. I would like to now introduce our platform guests to you, and if possible, let's hold our applause until I have introduced each guest. Starting from my left, Dr. Keith Whitfield, UNLV President, Dr. Chris Heavey, UNLV Provost, Nevada Supreme Court Chief Justice Alyssa Kadish, Associate Justice Patricia Lee, Associate Chief Justice Lydia Stiglich, Justice Abby Silva, retired, and Nevada State Court judges, we have Jennifer Schwartz, Jacob Reynolds, Joanna Kishner, Elena Lee Graham, and Frank Sullivan, retired. We can do a clap. I have have more. And then to continue on, we have Senator Nicole Cannizzaro, a 2010 alumna of the Boyd School of Law and our keynote speaker. We have Jessica Gandy, our 2016 alumna and vice president of the Boyd School of Law Alumni Chapter. We also have our Student Bar Association president, Maggie O'Flaherty, and our student speaker, Clyde Swan. Also in the first row, we have our professors who will be hooding today. Professors Kate Kindred, Sylvia Lazos, Ann McGinley, and Jean Sternlight, along with Adjunct Professor of the Year, Nell Christensen, and Professor Joe Regalia. Other distinguished guests here today who are in the audience include Nevada's Attorney General Aaron Ford and Nevada State University General Counsel Berna Rhodes Ford, Regent Susan Brager, and UNLV Vice President of Government and Community Engagement, Constance Brooks. And finally, but not leastly, the distinguished faculty and staff of the William S. Boyd School of Law here at UNLV. So now we can talk. And as talented as all of our graduates are, no one can make it through law school without the support and encouragement of many others. So first, I'd like to recognize the faculty and staff of Boyd Law who are dedicated to our students and their success, both in law school and after graduation. In particular, I would like to recognize Professors Nancy Rappaport and Jean Sternlight, who were voted Faculty of the Year by our graduating students. But I also want to recognize all of our faculty and staff. And so, faculty and staff, can you all rise and be recognized? Just as important, though, is all of you who are here today to support your graduate. Families and friends, you have made the graduate's success possible. You encouraged them to keep going, even when they were discouraged, reminded them that they have what it takes to succeed, and quite possibly forgave them for those days when nights took studying priority first. So let's give our family and friends of our graduates a round of applause. We are delighted to have the president of UNLV here with us this morning. We are so grateful for all the important work he is doing to lead our institution, creating our momentum, and supporting the law school. Please join me in welcoming UNLV President Dr. Keith Whitfield.
Well, good morning. You're not more excited than that? Good morning.
Good morning.
You're a great crowd. I think I want to take you on the road with me. Congratulations, graduates, you made it. I have to tell you, I'm absolutely thrilled to be one of the first to welcome and acknowledge the graduating class of the William S. Boyd School of Law at UNLV. And with more than 170 graduates, we're celebrating one of the largest ever law school classes. So the question is, how did it happen? It happened through plenty of hard work, through perseverance and tenacity. You graduates have completed the requirements to earn your law degree. And you know, that's a big deal. And it's a big deal for several reasons. One is that we are Nevada's only law school. And graduating lawyers who are prepared to serve our state and its residents in important ways, this is the main mission of our law school and as a university. Another reason is our law school's very real and important connection to our Las Vegas, Southern Nevada, and our state's community. From day one, as students, you were immersed in legal life, and in giving back, particularly through the Christine Smith Community Service Program. Through that program, you learn transferable skills for all types of law. Working with partners such as Legal Aid of Southern Nevada or Nevada Legal Services, you worked with licensed attorneys to provide free legal education on relevant legal issues. That community-focused, hands-on approach that continues even through the mock trials and moot competitions is what's made you as good as you are. As law students, you have participated and performed admirably in drafting competitions, client counseling competitions, mock trial competitions, and moot court competitions nationwide. And through participation in the school's numerous clinics, you have learned the value of service to those in your community who need it the most. I commend all of our students, and particularly to our dedicated faculty and staff, for your passion for and service to our community. If you would, give yourselves a round of applause on that. Now, I'm known a bit as a data guy, so let me share just a few exciting statistics with you. Today, we'll welcome 177 Juris Doctorate graduates from last fall and this spring, and 11 graduates from our Master of Law in Gambling Law and Regulation. The class completed 195 externships and tallied more than, hang on to this, 5,800 hours of pro bono service. And as president of this incredible university, I'm not supposed to show favoritism, but I gotta say, the law school will award the largest number of doctoral degrees of any graduate program at UNLV this spring. Congratulations. Now, these numbers certainly are impressive, and your work is certainly impressive. And one point that I'm most proud of is a majority of our Boyd graduates stay in and serve our local community. That service comes in many forms, including as representatives among Nevada's public servants and in other offices. There are Boyd grads at virtually every level of government, in private practice, and in corporate settings. Now, whether you stay here to practice or if you move on, we hope that you'll stay connected with UNLV and to our community in some way. Graduates, you are part of one of the nation's top law schools with more than a dozen programs which rank among the very best in U.S. News and World Report, among other reports. Your time at UNLV has taught you many things, and I hope that your experiences have shown you that the law is much broader than theory. You've come in contact with people whose lives are deeply impacted by the law. You know its consequences and its rewards. You have witnessed how it affects people and how you can help affect its outcomes. You are well prepared to become leaders in your field, but just remember, there's no such thing as a self-made man or woman. You didn't do it alone. Please remember to thank your partners, your spouses, your family, and friends who supported you along this journey. They have been a critical piece, and you deserve to show their appreciation. Let's give them one more round of applause. So in closing, thank you for your commitment to the legal profession and for carrying the UNLV spirit and passion for service into your careers. For you, today, it's your day. Congratulations, graduates.
Thank you very much, President Whitfield. Graduates, in just a few minutes, you will become Boyd Law alumni, and you will join a distinguished group of alumni throughout the state and around the country. To welcome you to the Boyd Law Alumni Network, it is my pleasure to introduce Jessica Gandy, who is a 2016 Boyd graduate. Jessica is a senior associate with the law firm of Hutchison and Steffen and vice president of the William S. Boyd School of Law Alumni Chapter. Jessica, will you please join me at the podium?
Good morning. Thank you for inviting me here today. It is an incredible honor to be standing here on the same stage today as I did 8 years ago, looking out into the sea of faces that will soon be joining me as part of the Nevada legal community. 8 years ago, I stood here at this same podium, speaking as representative of the part-time class, and I likened my law school experience to an adventure in Wonderland. It was strange and confusing, and mostly I just hoped that I'd make it through the whole experience with my head intact. I will never forget that feeling. It was this incredible mix of excited and scared and somehow also exhausted. Let me tell you though, that exhaustion never goes away. Get some sleep this summer because it's probably the last chance you'll have for a while. I am here today to tell you that, much to my surprise, this graduation is not the conclusion of the Wonderland experience. As you step through the looking glass and transition from law student to legal professional, the odyssey continues. No matter how much preparation our Boyd family has provided, and they truly do an amazing job, nothing can really prepare anyone for that first moment as a full-fledged attorney. It is both terrifying and exhilarating. It's everything that you have dreamed of for the past 3 or 7 or 20 years. You will look around a room and wonder if it's real, because no one else even seems to realize that it's happening. And it is. This moment is only eclipsed by your first win, no matter how big or how small. Enjoy these moments. Celebrate those wins, even the little ones. While some will tell you that the wins are the best part, I disagree. More than the individual wins or the happy clients, nothing will compare to the community that I have discovered around me in the Nevada legal community. It is that community of legal friends and family that truly makes this whole adventure worthwhile. No one can venture through Wonderland alone. That's a recipe for disaster. Surround yourself with Mad Hatters, the creative thinkers that have their own problem-solving style. Kings and queens of hearts who know every detail of every rule and want nothing more than to make everyone follow them, or else. And by all means, find yourself a white rabbit, someone that is obsessed about not being late. Pay the rabbit extra. It's worth every penny. You'll certainly run up against a Cheshire cat or two along the way, who seemingly has no purpose in the community but to drive you mad. But in the end, even the cat will make you better at what you do. I am here today on behalf of Boyd's alumni to welcome you to this next phase of your adventure. You are all on the edge of your own looking glass. Take a breath and get ready to make that next big step into yet another world. Where you go from here and what that world looks like is completely up to you. I wish you nothing but the greatest of adventures. And perhaps, if you have some time, stop, smell the roses, and have a cup of tea. Thank you.
Thank you, Jessica. We will now hear from graduating student Maggie O'Flaherty. This year, Maggie has served with great distinction as the president of the Student Bar Association. Maggie?
Good morning, graduates, faculty, our esteemed guests, administration, and all of you lucky ticket holders. Who knew this would be the hottest show to see in Vegas? It is my greatest honor to stand here this morning and represent the William S. Boyd School of Law, class of 2024. Someone once joked that our class must be somewhat insane, because what other explanation exists for using unprecedented amounts of free time during a pandemic to study something called logic games? And there is a bit of truth to our madness, but it is that very spark of unquestionable nerve that has defined our class experience from the beginning. It should be no surprise to all of you that a Las Vegas law school attracts only the most audacious applicants, and the graduates in this room are a testament to that. A city defined by its boldness and flair naturally draws those who dare to think and argue differently. We are a class characterized by unconventional backgrounds and exceptional lives outside of these walls. Entrepreneurs, mathematicians, artists, activists, and of course, one 911 operator. Woo! Whatever our background, we embraced one another. From our earliest days, we carried and honored a sense of individualism in ourselves that is not often found in a law school environment. At first, this was as simple as showing glimpses of our childhood bedrooms on Zoom school, and we did learn who took home the most trophies in Little League. But we were always yearning for more connection. Maybe marked by an overzealous GroupMe, we managed, in the midst of virtual barriers and incredible individuality, to forge true community among ourselves. Before law school, we were all subject to the same ominous warnings about the harrowing competitiveness that we were sure to endure. But we opted, rather consciously, not to carry that weight. Our class debunked myths about cutthroat law school culture. We shared insights and outlines. Thank you, Charlie. We comforted one another through setbacks and celebrated one another's small victories, and there was never a victory too small for a walk to Chiba Hut. We shared collective smiles as Professor Main taught us how to tickle the facts of a fact pattern, with the movement and all, and Professor Garcia ingrained the rules of justiciability with his rendition of Elton John's I Have Standing. We challenged one another to understand the foundations of our beliefs so we could dig deeper into our own persuasion and form keener arguments, but only in active voice. Most of all, we celebrated what distinguishes us, and we recognize that our greatest strength is and always will be in our diversity. We sit here this morning cloaked in identical garb as law school graduates, but we're reminded that we carry immense power in our differences. Our spirited classroom debates will always serve as a reminder that the law is not always about cases and statutes, but about lives and stories, contexts and shades of gray, all aptly summarized by the infamous law school phrase, "It depends." And we will remember that strength of conviction does not come at the expense of grace and compassion. We were all compelled to follow this haunting, but now we can say rewarding, journey for different reasons. And though we will leave here today with degrees bearing only our names, we owe a debt of gratitude to many besides just ourselves. To our friends and family here today to support us, thank you for your tireless patience as we navigated the past 3 or 4 years. We are indebted beyond belief to you. To our esteemed faculty and administration, thank you for embracing our individuality and allowing us the space to navigate law school in a way that honors all of our unique paths. And, of course, to the short-lived Justice Sternlight, thank you for making our first appearance before a judge 1L year not quite so intimidating. Today we are law school graduates, but tomorrow we'll start the day as any other, driven by our distinct paths, but always united in our shared experience. I hope we will continue to use the differences that define us as tools to broaden our own perspectives, to recognize the limits of our own knowledge, and be humble enough to know when the experiences of our colleagues can help fill in the gaps. I assure you, class of 2024, we are ready for what is next, and we will do it together. Next, I am pleased to introduce our next class speaker, someone who carries the greatest qualities in both a colleague and a friend, Clyde Swan.
What is your dream? What does your dream look like? Boyd Law Class of 2024, on this remarkable day, each of our hopes, optimisms, and resiliencies have molded us into the future attorneys and leaders that will be masterful at our crafts and impact the world with the law. If not for our teachers, parents, and peers, we would not be here today, and we thank you. These many experiences and impactful relationships have inspired us to be more resilient. And every one of you can achieve your dreams in the future because you are uncompromisingly resilient. It is our competitive greatness, poise, and confidence that will propel us towards our goals and dreams. We will achieve success because we have matured our ability to suffer and bounce back. This is called resilience. We must realize that it is specifically our generation, our class, and our legacy that has the responsibility today to lead the next generation into a more positive future, brighter Nevada, and greatness for our fellow Americans. Before law school, we each typically go through the grueling LSAT exam. The hope here generally is to earn a high enough score so that we are accepted into the law school of our choosing, then to continue to become impactful advocates. This process is often arduous and involves many setbacks and pressures. Here, we realized that we had a newfound ability to adapt and persevere through the hardship. This is the beginning of resiliency. Here lies the environment where our conditioning, initiative, intentness, and more importantly, patience was born. Then enter 1L year, full of all the charm and mystery that the first year of COVID law school can hold. We are the last class to have Zoom law school. Nevertheless, we quickly experienced the alarming cold calls, tedious readings, and the most memorable and maybe embarrassing in-class experiences. Bar review and other social gatherings gave us the opportunity to become a sincere family. This and our in-class experiences are where we forged unbreakable bonds of love, trust, and respect amongst each other. Life grew less bleak, and we realized that we might be able to do this lawyer thing. Going into 2L year with the newfound toughness and resiliency at the forefront of our minds, we then again began to strive for our dreams. Some of us joined the Gaming Law Journal, and some of us joined the Nevada Law Journal, led by Editor-in-Chief Emily Espinoza and Editor-in-Chief John Bollinger. There are those of us that join student organizations like our amazing Student Bar Association, led by President Maggie O'Flaherty. They host spectacular events like Barrister's Ball, where our Boyd family can come together in unity. There are also affinity and diversity organizations. These organizations empowered us to be who we really are, to not only accept others, but to accept ourselves for what we believe, while also encouraging others to be zealous advocates for what they believe. Then we begin again during 3L year, our burgeoning dreams on the cusp of becoming a reality and our advocacy becoming fiercer. It was not until December 6th that the Boyd and UNLV family experienced crisis and tragedy. I was employed as a student worker at the Lee Business School in the office of the dean on the 4th floor where the shooting began. I just so happened to have taken off of work that day to study for finals. This horrible event left 3 faculty members with grieving families and another faculty member wounded. In the aftermath, we all reunified with our family. This shooting is horribly painful and remains a deep scar on our hearts. Like Dean Grinvall stated, although we would need time to process and heal, resiliency is our constant. These words stuck with me and many others during the weeks after the shooting. This is why we are here today. Not only to commemorate our own selves, we are not merely here to reflect upon our own greatness, but also to be introspective about our connections to each other. We need each other, and without our mutual support, life can become distressful and isolating. This beauty has allowed us to flourish and must not be taken for granted. This love and teamwork are the source of our resilience. For me, my dream looks like uniting humanity and rediscovering values like peace, cooperation, and unity. We all have reasons that we came to law school. Some of us to debate, others to litigate, some to write and research. Whatever your purpose, do it with complete faith and devotion. Try your best, have a legendary resilience, endure, and do not let anyone stop you. Be fearless, push the limits. We are rebels.
Thank you, Clyde, for those powerful remarks. The graduating class has voted 2 professors as Professor of the Year this year, Professor Nancy Rappaport and Professor Jean Sternlight. Professor Rappaport regrets that surgery prevents her from being here today to speak to you all. Fortunately, Professor Sternlight, who we are sad to say is retiring this year, is here to offer thoughts to our graduates as they complete law school and begin their careers. Professor Sternlight.
Well, good morning and congratulations. I am flattered and honored to have been selected Professor of the Year, and especially to be in the company of Professor Rappaport, whom I greatly admire, but also all my other colleagues who are fabulous teachers, so that's really an honor for me. When I heard that this honor also comes with the privilege of saying a few words at graduation, I was further delighted, but I also had the thought that what goes around comes around, because in my 30-plus years of teaching law school at not only UNLV, but a couple of other places, I've attended many, many graduations, as you might imagine. And to be honest, my main impression of graduation speeches that other people gave has been, I wish they had been shorter. So, I have 2 goals for my own remarks today. One is keep them very short, and 2 is to help you remember to find the joy in life as you go out into the world to be lawyers. Many of you know me as a civil procedure professor, and I remember many of you from those long ago days too, the days of Zoom learning, as has been mentioned. Today, though, I'm drawing more from the work I've done on psychology and lawyering, and I've taught that to some of you as well. And I've learned a lot from you as well. I'm going to draw in my brief remarks from insights I've garnered from you as my students, both this year and in the past. When I talk about remembering to find joy or happiness, I don't just mean the happiness one may get by going to a party or lying on the beach or eating ice cream. Don't get me wrong, those are all really nice activities. The Greeks called that kind of joy hedonic. But there's also another kind of happiness or joy that the Greeks called eudaimonia, which is more about fulfillment, more about discovering the meaning in one's life. And as I send you out, or we all send you out to your graduation, I hope you'll seek both of those kinds of joy. And really the great thing is you do not have to choose between the hedonic joy of lying on the beach and the eudaimoniac, or whatever, joy of fulfillment. You can have both as long as you make good choices. And I'm going to just give you 3 suggestions for what good choices look like, in my opinion. One is, yes, do strive for work that gives you fulfillment and meaning. Many people have done surveys of lawyers and whether they're happy or they're not happy. And what those surveys have revealed is that, maybe this won't be a shock to you all, money is not the source of all happiness. And lawyers who work at the biggest firms and earn the biggest paychecks tend not to be the happiest lawyers. What you should be searching for in your jobs is those jobs that will give you more autonomy, those jobs that will give you more collegiality, those jobs in which you'll feel like you're doing good for the world, those jobs in which you'll find a feeling of flow where you're going to get lost in your work. Lawyers who work in smaller firms, lawyers who work for government, lawyers who work in-house, lawyers who work in academia, often are happier than other lawyers for those reasons. But don't despair if you're heading off to a big firm, because even if you're heading to a big firm, you can find all those things I talked about in big firm work as well. You look for autonomy, you look for collegiality, you look for meaning in your work. My second suggestion is to strive for balance in your life. Your generation is a lot better, I think, than mine was at figuring that out before we did, but still, lawyering jobs can certainly be a challenge, and you've experienced that in law school too. Once you're out in the working world, you will find somebody might be cracking the whip on you, or you may be even cracking the whip on yourself, and that kind of whip cracking does make it hard to find balance in your life. Or, and this happened to me, you just may be so used to working all the time, from high school to college to law school, that you've actually forgotten what else can give you joy. And there are other things that can give you joy: family, friends, exercise, art, shopping, goat yoga, whatever it is that makes yourself happy. You have to remember that and don't just get lost in the work, because this is no longer the hamster wheel where you have to just perform to get to the next step. You're really now getting out into your life, and if you don't make it work for you now in terms of balance, it's probably never going to. My third suggestion is to strive to do well not only for yourself but also for others, and others who've spoken today have mentioned this as well. Boyd has a real specialty in preparing you to do community service, and I was so excited yesterday when I went to the special ceremony where students were honored who had done a lot of work in pro bono. I just think that's great. It's great that those students and all of you have done a lot of work for the community. Continue to do it, both because it's going to provide good service to the community, but also because, again, lots of studies have shown that when you do that kind of good work for others, whether it's legal work or it could be other kinds of good work you do as well, you'll bring joy to yourself. Law students often come into law school wanting to help others. I talk to law students at lunch as first-year students, and almost all of them say they came to law school wanting to help others. And many of them also leave wanting to help others. But sadly, during the time of law school, sometimes people lose that goal. There's actually a name for it: pro bono drift. So if you feel that you've been a victim of that, now's the time that you can recover and again resolve to do more work that will help your others, and in that way help yourself too. My last wish is that you remember this speech. It's probably hopeless. I know from my psychology work, memory is fleeting, especially on a big day like today. But I've also learned that visual images can help with memory. So my visual for you all is, I know this will be a shock, to think purple, love the purple, and live the purple. And with that, remember everything. Thank you all.
Thank you so much, Professor Sternlight. I am now honored to introduce our keynote speaker, Senator Nicole Cannizzaro. Senator Cannizzaro is a 2010 graduate of the Boyd Law School. She began her legal career as a commercial litigator and then as a deputy district attorney. In 2016, while still practicing in the DA's office, Senator Cannizzaro was elected to the Nevada Senate, and since 2019, she has served as majority leader in that chamber. We are immensely proud of Senator Cannizzaro's accomplishments and service to this great state, and we're pleased to call her one of our alumna. Graduates and honored guests, please join me in welcoming Senator Nicole Cannizzaro.
Thank you so much, Dean Grunwald. Good morning, class of 2024. Congratulations. Soak it in. You have made it. I want to first again thank Dean Grunwald for having me, the graduation committee, the esteemed faculty, and all of you for letting me speak with you today. It is such an honor to be sharing this incredible moment with all of you. You have worked so hard to come to this pinnacle with opportunity and bright futures ahead. Your hard work has culminated in an accomplishment that very few people have the honor of holding, and it is so worth the celebration we are here for today. I am humbled and grateful to get to share a few words with you. To your families, your friends, your biggest supporters and cheerleaders, and every person along the way who helped with words of encouragement, strength in tough moments, and support, I also say thank you. The journey to a legal degree is not easy by any means, and your support is such a meaningful part of that journey. Thank you. If you had told my 7-year self that I would be standing here with all of you today, I would be unable to fathom this future. Growing up, I did not come from a place where a future lawyer, state senator, first female majority leader, law school graduate, college graduate, or even a high school graduate were commonalities. My dad, the son of Italian immigrants, left school in middle school, opting to sell papers, shine shoes, anything that would help him earn a few dollars. I remember he lamented his penmanship, surely a sign of his early retirement from education, the rugged block letters in simple phrases that he was able to write, avoiding doing so as much as he could. My mom, the daughter of potato farmers in rural upstate New York, grew up with more siblings than rooms, and finding herself to not be a very good student, found herself leaving high school to work in local restaurants, making money to help support her family. They were a bartender and a waitress who moved to Las Vegas from Buffalo, New York, Las Vegas being a place where bartenders and waitresses could find a job. And like so many families, my parents found themselves working opposite shifts. My mom, the lunch shift, my dad, the swing shift. That way, someone was always working, and someone was always able to be home with the kids. When I had started elementary school, my mom worked the lunch shift at this little cafe downtown called the Gourmet Cafe, and it was just down the street from the courthouse. There was a period of time where my dad would have to pick me up from school on his way to work, drop me off with my mom as she hustled to finish her shift so that I could go home with her. On those days, I would pop into the little restaurant, climb into one of the red leather booths, and my mom would tell me to behave and do some homework while she finished up her side work and closed out her shift. I remember all these people who would be there in their fancy suits, writing on yellow legal pads, their important conversations drifting through the air as they ate lunch, theorizing and debating strategies. I breathed it in. I didn't know anyone who went to a restaurant for lunch during the workday or who wore a suit regularly. We only wore suits to weddings or funerals. And I thought to myself, these people are so cool. They're coolest, the most important people that I had ever seen. Lawyers. I knew I had to be part of it. I wanted to be that cool too. I told my mom I wanted to be a lawyer. She said, okay, well, you have to go to school and you have to work hard. So I decided I would. I was extremely lucky to have incredible teachers along the way who made sure I kept on task and gave me the tools to succeed. I became the first person in my family to graduate from high school, earning a scholarship to attend college. At the time, the scholarship paid a significant chunk of my tuition, and that gave a kid like me the ability to see a path to college. I worked full-time in different restaurants from when I was about 16, all the way through college and even into my very first semester of law school, doing the same work that my parents had done day after day my whole life. I graduated and found myself applying to law school. I came here to Boyd, and I began my law school studies. It was not easy, not by a long shot. I was trying to work some nights and weekends at TGI Fridays to help cover costs while I lived back at home with my mom, and I somehow made it through the first semester. In that time, my dad, who had been struggling with a battle against cancer, became sicker than he had been. My younger sister, who had just had a third baby, was wrapped up in too many tough choices, and shortly after that first semester, we found ourselves with 3 babies, a newborn, a 1-year-old, and a 2-year-old living at the house. And I left law school. I got a few jobs, working in restaurants, selling shoes, working as an assistant, helping to care for small babies while everyone worked, and it was so far from where I thought I would be. I petitioned to come back, and they took me back, and I restarted my legal education. 3 years later, I found myself sitting in the same seats that you are all in today. I have spent that time since then working as a practicing attorney, most of it spent on the 9th floor of the courthouse downtown, where just across the street, a little cafe, now shuttered, but not before I happened inside, in a suit, with my lawyer colleagues, to sit and have lunch in the same familiar red leather booths that a 7-year-old once occupied, bright-eyed and hopeful. I share my story with you because each of you, in one way or another, has taken a journey to get here, marked by whatever difficulties have come your way, either big or small. My hope for you is that the journey keeps you humble, it strengthens your resolve, and it prepares you for the world ahead. I hope that you remain bright-eyed and hopeful, proud and courageous as you enter the next phase of your legal careers, whatever those may be. Being a lawyer, having a Juris Doctor degree, is an immeasurable accomplishment, matched only by the incredible opportunities that lie before each and every one of you. The roads that lie ahead of you, JD in hand, will take you to so many incredible places, and that future is exciting. You have been given the chance to change the world. I'd like to share just a few lessons that I have learned along the way in hopes that they may serve you well as you leave the familiarity of law school, your classmates, your professors, and grow into the next generation of legal minds. Lesson number 1, let the journey take you. I did not endeavor to be a politician, nor a prosecutor, no. In middle school, they asked us to complete a career aptitude test and to pick a career we were interested in and write a paper on it. I agonized. What if lawyer isn't on there? I'll just die. I took the test, I nervously waited for the results, and immediately flipped to L. I scurried down the page, reading hurriedly, lawyer, 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 lawyer. Where was it? It wasn't there. Lawyer wasn't there. I saw under P, they recommended podiatrist. Podiatrist? Like a foot doctor? Gross. Podiatrist, yes, but no lawyer. Defeated, I went back to page 1. We'd have to start again. And then there it was, A, for attorney. Whew. I wrote a paper about how I was going to attend Notre Dame, then the University of Pennsylvania for law school, then become a lawyer where I would help people. I'd work for 15 years, then retire, travel the world, and return to teach law. As I enter my now 14th year of practicing law, you can see that that plan is going swimmingly. I was always a serious student. I felt I had one chance to get this right, one chance to find a different future. I didn't have time to study abroad or try things on for size. I had a plan, a carefully curated, practical, true plan for how my life would go. Naturally, I ended up earning a scholarship and attending college in Reno, and I figured, you know what, that's okay, that'll be a fine start. And then, in a moment of clarity in college, I thought, well, what if I hate being a lawyer? What on earth am I going to do with my ubiquitous political science degree? What practical use would ever come from knowing the intricacies or principles of American democracy or the politics of North Korea or what was happening in Pyongyang? What would I do if I ended up not wanting to be a lawyer? So, doing the only practical thing, I became a business major. Business, I figured would be good, practical, smart. So naturally, when I came to law school, I was set on becoming a partner at a huge firm, commercial litigator, doing business, restructuring and bankruptcy, or mergers and acquisitions. I knew what I wanted to do. I was certain of it. I was prepared. I spent my whole life knowing exactly where I was going. Partner, big firm. Life, however, had other plans. It was 2010. Finding a law job was more than difficult. Firms weren't hiring. They rescinded first-year offers. Judicial clerks were staying for year 2 or year 3. I ended up taking a position with an insurance defense firm as a law clerk, working for $12 or $15 an hour, hoping and praying that if I passed the bar, I would then be able to find a job. It was tedious work. I didn't care for it. The day I passed the bar, I felt liberated. I started to look for work and found a job working in commercial litigation at a small firm. Perfect. I finally was going to get to do the job I dreamed of. I liked working at that firm. The people were nice. I had some important clients. I was finally a real lawyer. But as time went on, I felt there was something missing. Something that would be challenging, exciting, fulfilling, and I just wasn't sure what it was. And that feeling lingered. Surely I knew what I wanted to do, and this had to be it, but it felt like it wasn't. And then from nowhere, a classmate of mine reached out to me. Hey, I don't know what you're up to these days, but I'm at the DA's office and they're hiring. You should apply. Tempting. I wrestled with whether I saw myself as a prosecutor, whether making that decision would ruin my chances at pursuing my commercial litigator dreams, whether people would think I was smart enough, talented enough, or a real lawyer. I went back and forth about whether I should apply or not. I reached out to a former professor, Professor Rappaport, and I asked what she thought about such a career move. I ended up applying, figured I could stay a year, get some trial experience. By then the market would be better and I could parlay that experience into a position at a bigger firm. I was hired as a law clerk in the appellate unit with a promising promotion to deputy district attorney in the near future. I worked in appeals before finally settling into a position as a criminal DA. I worked in various courtrooms, did criminal cases of all sorts, traffic tickets, misdemeanors, thefts, robberies, assaults, shootings, murders, racketeering. I worked with law enforcement agencies from all levels of government and eventually found myself promoted to a chief deputy district attorney in the gang unit, where I spent the majority of my 11 years there. I had found a purpose, a passion, and a calling in a place that I had never intended. Similarly, in 2015, I found myself watching as the state legislature contemplated taking away public education funding, dismantling jobs for working families, looking to strip whites from women, and I had never intended on becoming involved in politics. I did not see myself as a politician, but I also felt compelled to say something, felt compelled to plead for someone in a position of power to say no, someone to do something, anything. Somehow, in the midst of reaching out and asking for folks to help, I found myself face to face with a state senator, the minority leader of the Nevada State Senate, now Attorney General Aaron Ford, and his staff, who were telling me, you should run. What do you mean I should run? I shouldn't run, but you do need to find someone, in fact, find many someones who care, who can advocate for change, who will invest in education, in healthcare, in jobs, who care about whether women have equal rights. You need to find these people. You should run. Who was I to run? I did not come from a political dynasty or even a political background. I had never worked on a campaign, and seriously, don't tell anyone, but I don't think I even voted in every single election. I was a 5-year attorney. I didn't know anyone of circumstance. I didn't know the first thing about running for office, and surely I was unfit for this position. Plus, it wasn't in my plan. No, you need someone who knows what they're doing, a seasoned political mind, not me. You should run. The seat they wanted me to run for was one of the most competitive seats on the map, currently held by another party. It would take over $500,000, days upon days of knocking doors, going to events, talking with voters, every hour of every day, focused on finding a way to win, terrible attack ads. So here I was, an announcement they had found a candidate, someone who was deemed an unknown, a young lawyer who was going to run and win. And we did. 2 years after beginning my journey into public office, I found myself being voted into the majority leader position in the Nevada Senate. The first woman to ever hold the title, in charge of a caucus, a state budget, and ensuring we would be doing what we could to help Nevadans. My law degree was the single most helpful thing I could have had both then and now as I sit in my 8th year in the state legislature. It has given me the depth of knowledge needed to understand complex bills and policy decisions, to find ways to make substantial change, and to better this state. It has provided me the background of knowledge to be an effective legislator. Again, none of this was in my plan. So maybe you have a plan, and maybe that plan goes exactly as you expect. And if that plan feels right, my advice to you is to run with it. Do all the things that you want to do, that you dream of doing. Your law degree has equipped you well to do just that. And if, like me, you find the plan is going exactly the opposite of what you envisioned, don't be discouraged. Go with it. Find your passion. Find the things that make you feel like you can take on the world when you get out of bed in the morning. Try new things. Explore your options. You have such versatility in front of you, and your degree that you received today has prepared you for so much more than you know. Take the chance. Find the purpose. Do all the things. Let the journey take you to where you are meant to be. Lesson number 2, be prepared. When I first joined the DA's office, there was a chief deputy district attorney who did a training for us. He covered all of the basic statutes, criminal procedure rules, how to take notes in files, typical motions you may encounter, basics of calendars, status checks, motion practice, trial work. But the one slide that stood out to me in all of that was a slide that stated, as a state, you should be the one with all the answers. All the answers. Why and how is it my job to be the person in a courtroom filled with people? Why was it my job to have all the answers? And he explained, when the judge asks a question, for example, how much credit does the defendant have of time served? You should know the answer. Yes, the defense attorney should know the answer. Yes, the court should know the answer. And they may know that answer, but you should always enter the courtroom as the most knowledgeable person. The judge will look to you, and it's your job to be in charge of your case and your calendar. I found this to be one of the most useful lessons. The more prepared you are, even to know the answers to the things you are not responsible for, the less you are surprised, and the more you become the authority in the courtroom. Be prepared. Lesson 3, this job will test your every fiber. Hang in there. One of the first times I was left in the courtroom alone as a new attorney, I was presenting a preliminary hearing for a fraud case where a daughter had stolen all of her mother's money, leaving her on the brink of eviction and unable to pay for medical treatment. There was a paper trail and a detective and a whole investigation. So I proudly walked up, presented my evidence. I had documents, I had bank statements, I had a detective who could explain what all of it meant. I admitted all the documents, I felt confident about my knowledge of evidence, and I was ready. I presented, and I went through my witness list, and I got to the victim, the mom. I asked her questions, and she tepidly answered, and when I asked her who her daughter was and whether she could identify her in the courtroom, she froze. She was suffering from the effects of early stages of dementia, and she couldn't remember who her daughter was, and suddenly didn't know where she was. And I was alone in the courtroom, and I didn't know how to proceed. I felt the judge's impatience and the case falling apart. I managed through, holding back tears, uncertain of whether I could do this job. I almost lost it when the detective whispered from the stand, "You're doing a great job, keep going." I felt embarrassed, like an imposter, like I should quit. Somehow, I didn't quit that day. I asked questions of my supervising attorney. I asked for help on how to handle unexpected circumstances or what happens when the witness on the stand does something you were not prepared for, and I learned from it. This job of being a lawyer, no matter what sort of lawyer you are, will test you. It will rattle your core. It will do that more than you ever thought was possible, more than has happened in prior jobs, careers, or circumstances. The meaningfulness of your work will impact you, and there may be times where you feel lost. There will be moments when you feel like you have made the wrong decisions and wonder if you too should quit. My advice is to hang in there. The more questions you ask, the more you learn, the more confident you will become. This career, no matter its form, is an evolving one that will bring new challenges, new problems to solve, and as you get to thinking you know it all, the law will change. Your judge will change. A new client with a new problem will walk in the door, and you will have to learn all over again. It is beautiful and wonderful, but it can also be challenging. So never give up. Keep going. Lesson 4, you will be the light. The one thing I was not prepared for was dealing with clients. I was not prepared for what it would mean to take on clients, to represent victims, to be the person they had hired or were relying upon to address their issues in their case. And I'm not talking about simply whether I could talk to a client, not just meeting a client or wondering how about I would explain the law from an amazing brief that I had just written, or how I would conduct myself as a professional, but rather how your clients come to you. In my current role in private practice, I had a client who had called me to talk about her case. We had talked many times. We had been in and around the case more times than I think I could even count. We had talked about everything, her deposition, what witnesses we would call, what documents I had subpoenaed, the judge, the strategy, what sort of outcomes were possible. We had talked about everything. But here we were, talking about the case again. And she was mad, and she was yelling, and then crying, and then more yelling, and I became frustrated. Why was she yelling? What questions did I not answer? How could we possibly be talking about the same thing again? And I had to take a breath. The thing about clients that come to you, whether they are individuals, business owners, CEOs of corporations, or heads of organizations, they are looking for a lawyer, an attorney, to solve a problem. They are not looking to come to you as the best version of themselves. For so many, the process of interacting with or hiring an attorney is one prompted by one of the worst moments in their lives. They're being sued, they were arrested, they're getting divorced, they were the victim of a crime, they were injured or hurt, they're losing a business deal, they're fighting with a former business partner, they're being evicted, their kid was kicked out of school, their neighbor is fighting with them. They have clients that won't pay them. They are coming to you to help them out of a tough time, and usually navigating a process that they do not understand. They will be relying on you to be the strong, assured voice in the room. You are the person who is going to give them answers and hope. You will be the light in that dark situation. So be gracious. Explain it to them again, and know that when they come to you, you're there to be their champion. You can make a difference, however small that is, but remember to have grace. Number 5, be a fighter. In the same vein as understanding your clients, that your clients will come to you eager to solve your problems, looking for someone to represent them in their time of need, it's important to know what you're fighting for. I had a case a few years back, a murder case that I often think about. It had started as a missing persons report, a mother looking for her son. He was older, she hadn't seen or heard from him for a while, and this wasn't unusual necessarily. He had struggled in life, there wasn't always stability. Yes, there were times where they hadn't seen or heard from him in a while, but he would eventually show up. Nonetheless, when she called to file a report, the concern was written down, but little else came of the result. One interview, but nothing much. Eventually, time passed, and one day a park ranger let her know that there would be a case. I remember his mom, blonde, sweet, tears in her eyes as she spoke about him. He had been forgotten, but now there was a case. Turns out, a lot of evidence against the roommate, but he proclaimed he would get away with it because her son was a drug dealer, a former gang member, and no one would care or believe it. Mom came to court every day, sitting quietly in the back of the courtroom. Each day she would say thank you and then leave. At the end of the trial, we had a conviction. She told us she had been alone fighting for him, missing him, remembering the young child who loved and hugged her. She thanked us for not giving up on her son when it had felt like so many had. Thank you for seeing my son for more than his decisions. Well, not every case that you handle will be like that one. You have to be a fighter. You have to know that there are people who will rely on you, Sometimes it will be quiet but steady. But in this profession, you have to be willing to fight. Fight for your clients, for your case. Even when others have stopped caring, there are times that you will need to lead the charge. Do something good. You are changing the world. In my office, there hangs a small black frame, maybe 12 inches each side, a square. In it, the words read, "Do something good today." I keep that reminder to do something good as sort of a North Star for my practice and how I choose to approach this profession. It is so common for us to read the cases in our course books and meticulously look to discern what rule, what elements, what guiding principle is illustrated to us by reading that particular case. As law students, you're taught to break things down and apply the rules to the new facts. You have to think about what the correct course of action might be or how an argument might be different if one fact was just a little bit different. And in practice, you will do all of those things. The elements of negligence, the elements of robbery, what a contract requires, what sort of a review the court will give to a particular statute. You will apply those legal principles to your cases, bolstered by statutes and case law, drawing comparisons between the case you handle and the cases before. But each of these cases, each of these rules that you have learned over these last 3 years, each of these have been the mark of a case that started that all. So know that when you handle a case, you will be on the precipice of changing every case that comes after yours. You can move mountains, change lives, empower people, establish rights, and create all sorts of legal touchstones that shape behavior. So do something good. Be aware of your impact. The future rests on you. For so many people you will never meet. Do the good things, stand up for what is right, and trust in yourself. Take this accomplishment, let it carry you. Take in this moment, take a breath. You did it. Congratulations, class of 2024.
Thank you, Senator, for those inspiring remarks. It is now time for the formal conferral of degrees. President Whitfield, will you please join me at the podium? Will the candidates for the Master of Laws degree please stand? Oh, you're going to be on that side? Okay. President Whitfield, on recommendation of the faculty of the William S. Boyd School of Law, I present to you the candidates for the Masters of Law degree.
Candidates, you have been recommended to me by your distinguished faculty and by the Chief Academic Officer. Therefore, by the virtue of the laws of the state of Nevada and the authority vested in me by the Board of Regents, I confer upon each of you who has fulfilled all the requirements the Masters of Law degree with all the rights, honors, and privileges pertaining thereto.
Please be seated. Now, will the candidates for the Juris Doctor degree please rise? On recommendation of the faculty of the William S. Boyd School of Law, I present to you the candidates for the Juris Doctor degree.
Candidates, you have been recommended to me by your distinguished faculty and by the Chief Academic Officer. Therefore, by virtue of the laws of the state of Nevada and the authority vested in me by the Board of Regents, I confer upon each of you who has fulfilled all the requirements the Juris Doctorate degree with all the rights, honors, and privileges pertaining thereto.
Please be seated, and thank you, President Whitfield. And now we approach the portion of the ceremony that our graduates and all of us have been long waiting for. In a few moments, the members of the class of 2024 will have their names announced and will walk across the platform to be hooded. The graduates will be hooded by Professors Kay Kindred, Sylvia Lazos, Ann McGinley, and Jean Sternlight, who have been invested a combined total of 93 years in teaching Boyd students and preparing them to enter the legal profession. So I just want to clap. Also joining them will be Professor Joe Regalia and Adjunct Professor of the Year, Nell Christensen. I will also call your attention to the commencement program, which lists the names of all the students who will graduate today, as well as our award winners. And I think now we're ready. Dean Smith? Will the Hooders please take their positions?
It is my privilege to present the December 2023, May 2024, and August 2024 graduates of the William S. Boyd School of Law. Audience members, please do not hold your applause when I announce the name of your graduate. Will the Masters of Law candidates come forward? Carla Manuela Barrias Sanchez. Pamela Lanier. Les Miss Laura. Francisco Morales Sanchez. Catherine Musumali. Juris Doctor candidates, please come forward. Sierra Sunim Alagao. Lydia Anderson. Julius Anglin. Feliz Susana Arana. Ron Arellano. George Banis. Chase Banton. Camille Bayard. Christopher Bechtel. Brett Berglund. Savannah Byrne. Rachel Blum. John Bolliger. Aaron Borg. Amanda Bradford. Justin Branham. Zach Brodney. Jake Buckman. Carla Bywaters. Charles Cahalane. Mindy Capriolio. Shannon Chow. Chase Christensen. Tyler Christensen. Ronald Coe. Kayla Bazan. Hope Connors. Joseph Coronel. Sean Cosley. Jefferson Cummings. Samuel Sianovich Walea. Katie Dahl. Sabrina Dodos. Brianna Doherty. David Driggs. Ryan Edwards. Carlos Eduardo Espina. Emily Espinosa de los Monteros. Bradley Fenton. Jacob Fornoff. Sonia Galan. Sean Gardner. Marie Froelich. Hanuk Johannes Gabriel. Eva Jocelyn Guevara. Hunter Gokin. Nathan Gruben. Caitlin Gwynn. Keonui Harris. Catherine Hayes. Parker Heflin. Riley Helgren. Rudy Hernandez Camacho. Paige Hillegas. Andrew Hugentobler. Chaitanya Engel. Catherine James. Madison Johnson. McCall Johnson. Shani Canfy. Trevor Kennedy. Andrea Killebrew. Courtney Poe. Jacqueline Zunia Calderon Schreiber. Balin Zalecki. Andrew Yates. Olivia Williamson. Emily Coons. Kelsey Lampf. James Lau. Devo Leichter. Raimundo Leon. Eric Lundy. Alicia Listen. Aaron Lutz. Brittany Lyons. Nina Machine Casasolo. Janelle Maggiacomo. Jordan Marcello. Joseph Marino. Jeanette Marquez. Jessica Martinez. Maria Menkos Bremerman. Mario Marola. Ryan Mazurvi. Justin Meyer. TJ Milk. Sydney Mungeon. Joseph Morris. Mark Mulhall. Nathan Nelson. Trenton Neild. Roberto Nolasco Cruz. Maggie Rose O'Flaherty. Danielle Oberlander. Isabel Osorio. You did it. Brianna Panasiuk. Michael Pappas. Brandon Parent. Kiana Parks. Melissa Granados Petrino. Julissa Pedraza. Dakota Peterson. Aaron Polanski. Samuel Pope. Scott Prince. Alexander Probon. Brooke Pirtle. Charles Rawson. Benjamin Reber. John Regalia. Samuel Reyes. Monica Nicole Reyna. Lindsay Reynolds. Karina Rivera. Alco Kathy Robinson. Anahita Rodriguez. Frank Rossier. John Anthony Sandoval. David Sargason. Sarah Sawyer. Kelly Scarborough. Deanna Scott. Yashmita Sharma. Catherine Elizabeth Shaw. Allison Seek. Giacomo Silvestri. Seth Snow. Sydney Soder. Simran Sodi. Tia Stamis. Molly Stubblefield. Mackenzie Sullivan. Nathan Swanis. Clyde M. Swan III. Kyle Matthew Taylor. Kayla Taylor. Brittany Tellez. Chase Tennell. Josette Vanderlaan. Samantha Vanillo. Olivia Van Treese. Joseph Waldman. Crystal Washington. Andrew Weddle. Daniel Z. Weiss.
And now, I can now say that you are all officially graduates and alumni of the Boyd School of Law. Congratulations. It has been a commencement ceremony tradition that our faculty congratulate our graduates on the way out of Ham Hall. And so everyone, please remain seated, but I will now ask the faculty to exit the stage to be able to get that set up for the congratulatory gauntlet. party. Remember that you are now a permanent part of the history and the future of the William S. Boyd School of Law. We will miss seeing you around the building, but hope you come back and visit, if only to look at your graduation picture that will hang in perpetuity on the second floor. You know how much you enjoyed meeting alumni and hearing about their pathways. Please pay it forward, even as you find successes that we all know will come your way. Please also remember to follow us on social media to keep tabs on how we're doing, to continue to make you proud. I know that you are all going to make us proud, and I can't wait to see what you do. Congratulations, class of 2024. Now, some logistics. Will the families and friends please stay seated until the graduates and the guests, well, all the guests on stage have left. And then you can meet them in the lobby where we will have a reception and lots more time for photographs. So, graduates, please stand and you will process out.